My name is Dr. Persephone von Whiskerton III. Percy to my fans, hey cat to everyone else, and stop chewing the ficus to the receptionist. I am 8 pounds of jaded house cat sophistication, sable fur, and clinical accreditation that fits neatly on a tuna-scented business card. Feline-assisted psychotherapist, board certified. You haven't heard of the board? Of course you haven't. It's 3 alley cats who convene behind Luigi's Trattoria on garbage nights. Still, the letters after my name look impressive enough to unlock a regular gig at the moonlit mental health clinic for the pretty naturally fuzzy, the only place in town where take a seat, make yourself comfortable comes with a legal waiver about claw marks on upholstery. Which brings me to my patients. Werewolves. Stressed out, overgroomed, existentially conflicted werewolves who shed so much during full moons that the cleaning staff has started threatening a wildcat strike. Ironically, I'm the wildcat they'd be striking with. On the night my story begins, the moon was so perfectly round it looked photoshopped. The waiting room hummed with minor key howls, anxious panting, and the steady plink of fur falling onto the laminate floor like cursed confetti. I leapt onto my therapist's couch, the throne from which I judge, and prepared for the group session. Section 1, Hair of the Dog, Attendance Roll. Caleb, corporate lawyer, currently sporting a 3-piece suit held together by safety pins and optimism. Juniper, yoga instructor, halo of silver fur already drifting off her shoulders like dandelion fluff. Lars, barista, smelling faintly of espresso grounds and impending doom. Brenda, stay-at-home mom, carrying a purse the size of a wolf cub and 3 Tupperware containers of homemade snickerdoodles. They slunk in and took their usual spots. I needed the arm of the couch purely to scent mark it, not because I was enjoying myself, and began. Ground rules, I meowed, activating the translation collar the clinic had purchased after my first week of being misunderstood. They'd thought I'd been saying, yes, please, share your feelings. I'd actually been saying, yes, please, share your feelings somewhere else. The caller rendered my words in crisp mid-Atlantic English with just the right level of tired disdain. Number 1, try not to bleed on the upholstery. Management can't expense another couch. Number 2, shedding in moderation. We have lint rollers. We do not have a snowplow. And number 3, no eating the therapist. Yes, Brenda, I know you brought snacks, but kindly keep the menu mammal-free. They nodded with miserable obedience. I launched into the standard icebreaker. On a scale of 1 to 10, how close are you to hoisting a neighbor over a picket fence because his hedge trimmer sounds like prey? Caleb raised his hand, tie unspooling like a strangled python. 9. Herbert keeps revving the engine on his riding mower. It's triggering my fighter furball response. Good, I said. Awareness is the first step. Next time, file a noise complaint instead of a missing neighbor report. Juniper exhaled through her nose. Half her coat drifted toward the ceiling vent. Honestly, it's not the noise that gets me. It's the lifestyle pressure. Everybody on Instagram expects me to post perfect full moon yoga poses. But I'm bloated, fanged, and shaped like a silverback. Child's pose? More like feral child pose. I eyed the mound of fur collecting at her feet. My taxonomist brain clicked. Siberian lineage, double coat, high static. Excellent nesting material. I made a note to stuff my cat bed later. Lars, I prodded. He twitched. Someone at the cafe ordered a mocha werpresso as a joke. I laughed, then growled, then I might have accidentally steamed the milk with my muzzle. Boundaries, I said, and maybe a muzzle-proof milk wand. Finally, Brenda sighed. I just want one full moon where the kids don't wake up because mommy's outside baying at Amazon delivery vans. Okay, I thought, typical. Each of them trapped in a cycle of hair, despair, and neighbor complaints. Time to introduce cognitive behavioral boniness CBB my trademark approach, patent pending somewhere under the litter box. Step 1, identify the irrational thought. Step 2, knead it like bread dough until it either submits or becomes a sandwich. I patted across the coffee table, sending a stack of scented candles tumbling. Everyone, close your eyes, I said. Picture the moon, big, bright, manipulative. Now repeat after me. The moon is spectacular, but it does not own me. The moon is spectacular, they chanted. But it does not? Caleb sneezed. A puff of fur exploded like a pillow fight at an apocalyptic slumber party. The HVAC system inhaled, then sighed fur through the vents like shag carpet snowfall. Flakes landed on my whiskers. I stared at them unblinking. Correction, the moon does not own you, but it clearly rents space on my couch. 15-minute break. I require janitorial services, or possibly a snow shovel. Section 2. Janitorial negotiations and existence dread. While the werewolves milled around the snack table, I met with Gary the janitor, a grizzled vampire going through his own mid-eternity crisis. More fur than a taxidermy convention, Gary grumbled, pushing a broom nearly as old as his bicuspids. Last week I had to call a plumber to snake the drains, found a clog so big it qualified for dual citizenship. I empathize, I replied. I hack up one hairball and everyone acts like it's the end of days. These walking barbershop explosions flood the HVAC like it's artisanal snow. Gary squinted. You think they tip? Not unless you count spleens, he sighed but kept sweeping. I returned to the group in time to find Brenda offering homemade cookies shaped like crescent moons. Sweet. And thematically on the nose. Back on the couch, I flicked my tail. Let's talk self-care strategies for the transformation phase. Aromatherapy, meditation, industrial grooming? Caleb raised an eyebrow the width of a diving board. We tried aromatherapy, lavender candles. Lars ate one. Hey, Lars muttered, it smelled delicious. Could we maybe hire professional groomers? Juniper asked. Most groomers stop at does your pet weigh more than 200 pounds, I pointed out. However, there is a Great Dane salon willing to experiment. They charge by the pound and the minute, so bring a credit limit and a tranquilizer dart. Brenda toyed with a bald patch on her arm. What about internalized prejudice? My PTA peers keep calling me dog person like it's an insult. Cats would kill for that kind of devotion, I said. Dogs think humans are demigods. We cats know better, but we still demand tributes in the form of tuna patate. My point, let them call you whatever. Their opinions hold as much weight as a helium balloon in a wind tunnel. She smiled. Progress, I thought, scribbling on my clipboard. Okay, batting at it until the pen moved. Then my clinic pager beeped. Emergency session. Of course. Tonight of all nights, the full moon would not be ignored. Emergency session, the full moon fiasco reception, escorted in 3 new clients still mid-shift. Gnarls, Marlena, and Vic, in an alpha beta mega bundle of nerves who look like they'd tried to shave themselves blindfolded. Fur tufts stuck to their clothes with static cling, giving them the tragic vibe of a half-plucked teddy bear rescue center. Doc, Gnarls growled, we're on the brink. The city's hosting a fireworks show, the noise, the lights, it's like the moon swallowed a strobe light and exploded. You're triggered, I summarized, curling into a loaf. Classic fight-or-flight shed. Sit, talk, don't shed. Too late. A fresh drift spiraled down. Caleb pinched the bridge of his snout. If we keep dumping fur, Dr. Percy, you'll need a leaf blower. I pictured myself strapped to a backpack blower like a disgruntled ghostbuster. Add that to my ever-growing list of indignities. Still, the session must go on. Fireworks, I announced, are predictable. They start, they finish, they leave a smoky aftertaste like burnt marshmallows. What? We can harness that predictability. When the first boom hits, you breathe in. Second boom, breathe out. Third boom, recite. Lars interrupted with a whimper. What if we forget which boom we're on? Then hum, Ride of the Valkyries. It has the correct number of booms, trust me, I napped to Wagner, Juniper chimed in. Maybe we could pair the breathing with grooming. Inhale, brush, exhale, brush. So the fur falls at a slower, more mindful pace? I granted her a rare cat smile, meaning my ears flicked 2 millimeters forward. Mindful shedding, trademark pending. We'll market it as the next Peloton for the lycanthropic demographic. They laughed, an ugly, throaty, hopeful sound. Humor, the duct tape of coping mechanisms. I glanced at the wall clock, 15 minutes to fireworks. I'd have to accelerate treatment if I wanted to salvage both their emotional equilibrium and my furniture's deposit. So, I said, let's role play. Caleb, you're the fireworks. Everyone else, react mindfully. Caleb looked affronted. How exactly do I impersonate fireworks? For starters, dramatically self-combust. That earned another round of laughter. Good. While their guard was down, I leapt onto the coffee table and performed what laypeople might call a stupid cat trick. I call it EMDR, Eye Movement Desensitization Reprocessing Deluxe Edition. I batted a laser pointer in quick figure eights across the wall. Every lupine gaze followed, their irises flicking left, right, left. It's the same principle therapists use with humans. Distract the amygdala, rewire the memory, offer a treat. Keep watching, I droned. When you hear fireworks, remember this laser. Red dot good, boom noise harmless. Outside, the first firework cracked. Muscle rippled under fur. Juniper's hackles rose, Lars' pupils dilated. I accelerated the dot. Caleb squeezed his eyes shut and whispered, red dot, good, boom, harmless. Miracle of miracles, nobody transformed into a rabid demolition crew. Sure, the couch looked as though it had been reupholstered in beige mohair, but at least it remained standing. I passed around lint rollers like communion wafers, post-fireworks debrief. When the final sparkle fizzled in the sky, they slumped in relief. That actually helped, Marlena said, marveling at her still human fingers. Maybe you're onto something, Vic added, brushing loose hairs into a biodegradable bag, helpfully labeled free filling for bird nests. I allowed myself a self-satisfied grim of my shoulder. Of course I'm onto something. I'm a cat. We're genetically engineered to be onto things. Mice, countertops, existential truths. Juniper raised a tentative paw hand whatever. Dr. Percy, could you teach us proper grooming? Cats never seem stressed about shedding. My tongue paused mid-swipe. Teach them? Share the sacred feline art of maintainable magnificence? It felt wrong. Like giving away state secrets or my favorite sunny windowsill. Then again, consider the benefits. Less fur in my water dish, fewer janitorial confrontations, and an ego boost bigger than my scratching post. I made a grand show of deliberating, tapping my whiskers thoughtfully. Fine, I said at last. But you'll owe me. What do you want? They chorused. Tuna, I replied, top shelf, none of this brinewater bargain bin nonsense. And a robotic laser pointer shaped like a congressional lobbyist. Done, Brenda said, already texting her husband. Cat-led grooming masterclass. We reconvened in the clinic's courtyard where wind could carry the fur fallout into the municipal compost heap. I paced in front of them like a drill sergeant in boot camp. Or rather, booty camp, useful pun, no charge. Lesson 1, I began, lifting a hind leg with impossible grace. Cleanliness is next to catliness. Start with strategic tongue strokes in the direction of hair growth. Do not, I repeat, do not scrub against the grain unless you're auditioning for a Yeti documentary. They copied me awkwardly. Caleb nearly dislocated something. Brenda looked like she was playing Twister solo. Fur drifted, but in gentler flurries. Lesson 2, seek out your sebaceous glands. Base of tail, behind ears, they secrete natural oils. Nature's leave-in conditioner distribute evenly. Lars sniffed his wrist. I always thought that musky smell was anxiety. Partly, but mostly biology. And yes, you still need an occasional bath. I recommend oatmeal shampoo with a soothing jazz playlist. Avoid Kenny G, his saxophone triggers howls in D minor. By lesson 3, nail care. Scratch early, scratch often. My pupils were panting with exertion but beaming. More importantly, the courtyard looked like the aftermath of a feather pillow fight, not a tar and feather medieval festival. Brenda wiped sweat from her brow. I feel lighter. That's because half your winter coat is now airborne, I said, but also because grooming redirects nervous energy into self-maintenance. Felines call it Tuesday. Group Epiphany days passed. Word spread. Soon, every hair-afflicted lycanthrope for 8 zip codes begged for an appointment with the cynical cat who does miracles with a Bristol brush. I should have charged by the whisker. At our next full moon meeting, the waiting list wrapped around the block like a python in crowd control vests. The clinic upgraded my couch to leatherette, easier to wipe. They also installed an industrial-strength Roomba named Chupacabra. When fur met suction, Chupacabra belched like a dying bagpipe but soldiered on. Inside, the vibe had shifted. Yes, moonlight still poured through skylights, but instead of tense silence, there was conversation. Tips on detangling, recommended podcasts, group purchase of hypoallergenic couch covers. Look at us, Caleb marveled. Nobody's snarling. Nobody's counting down the seconds till they snap. Speak for yourself, I muttered. I have a hard stop at 9 p.m. for my third nap. He chuckled, passing me a gift bag. Inside, imported bluefin patate, a note reading, "Thanks, Doc." I pretended not to purr. Therapist, EI, openers, success breeds reflection. One twilight, stretched on the windowsill, I considered how weirdly satisfying it felt to help. Don't misinterpret, I'm still motivated by fish and vanity. But there's something about seeing a wolf in mid-panic rediscover calm through rhythmic brushing that scratches an itch dead mice never reach. Maybe I had grown. Maybe I was experiencing, purpose. Cue existential hairball. I coughed it up discreetly behind a ficus so Gary wouldn't whine. Client relapse. Of course, progress isn't linear. During the next thunderstorm, the stress barometer spiked. Juniper burst into my office dripping wet. Wet dog smell nearly singed my whiskers. Her confession spilled out. She'd chewed a decorative throw pillow at Crate and Barrel. Price tag, $89.00, plus shame. I poured her peppermint tea. Okay, I gestured at the kettle. I don't have opposable thumbs. Relapse happens, I counseled. Chewing is a grounding technique gone rogue. Next time, choose something designated like a rubber Kong or Caleb's tie collection. She laughed between sniffs. Crisis averted. I stroked her shin with my tail, strictly therapeutic, and jotted a note to buy stock in Kong. The great couch day months of reduced shedding convinced management to invest in a new upscale sectional. Eggshell white, microfiber, stain-resistant according to catalog lies. They unveiled it during our quarterly Pack Progress Gala, complete with a ribbon-cutting ceremony performed by yours truly, claw-cutting technicality. To commemorate, they asked me to give a speech. I practiced in front of a mirror, then knocked the mirror over because I looked too sincere. In the end, I winged it. Friends, fur folks, lint roller enthusiasts, I began, perched on the armrest. We used to see full moons as doom. Now we see them as grooming reminders. Instead of shedding chaos, we shed expectations. Except the couch, which you will protect with your lives because I refuse to host sessions on a futon again. Applause, Paul, erupted. Someone howled in tune. Gary dabbed a tear, or blood, from his eye. I felt oddly proud, like a cat who'd stared into the laser pointer of destiny and pounced. Gabiac, Clawtor, not everything is sunshine and tuna. When word of my success reached the Feline Ethics Committee, an offshoot of the Board of Alley Cats, now meeting in a Whole Foods dumpster, they accused me of species fraternization. Cats, after all, like their sentient meat wrapped in glass panes. I defended myself. These wolves pay in pate and adoration. Show me a mouse who tips, case dismissed. Also, the judge chased a moth mid-argument. Epilogue, full-color future. These days, my calendar is packed. Morning yoga with Juniper, I supervise in loaf position. Conference calls with corporate HR advising on hair-positive dress codes. Podcast appearances, title Perfectly Balanced, Feline Wisdom for Fuzzy Minds. I've even co-written a self-help book with Caleb, Sheer Willpower, Transform Anxiety into Styling Gel. Pre-orders include a travel-size lint roller and a coupon for free rabies titers. As for the couch, it's still pristine. Sure, the Roomba has filed for workers' comp twice, but staff morale is up, clinic revenues have tripled, and Gary's broom gathers dust instead of fur. Sometimes, under a satisfied moon, I curl atop the couch backrest, surveying my kingdom of quasi-canine calm. They credit me with saving their sanity. I credit them with keeping me entertained, well-fed, and surrounded by enough soft undercoat to line 1,000 cat beds. In the end, therapy is simple. Everyone wants to be seen, accepted, and, if possible, brushed behind the ears. Even a cynical cat knows that. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm late for a keynote speech at the International Conference of Supernatural Mental Health Professionals. The Uber driver texted, he says there's dog hair on the back seat, and he's so sorry. I told him not to apologize, it's probably mine.